Friends too.
Right. Hopefully.
Let's talk about last night on a show that probably a lot of people don't love to get into or whatever in the music world, but America's Got Talent. My friend Bo, his band True Villains, he was originally in a band called Ivy Stone from Minnesota. I want to tell you guys a quick little story about his band Ivy Stone when they stayed with me. Like I had stuff for them to make sandwiches or whatever they wanted to eat, that I could provide to them at the time. And they were all like, "No, we're good." And they're like out in their van in the heat, and they're making like peanut butter sandwiches. And I was like, I mean, if that's what you guys want to do, let's go for it. But I want to congratulate them on their 4 yeses last night.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Good
awesome
stuff. Fitz,
what's up?
What are you doing?
Sorry, I'm a few minutes late. I didn't realize I had to download the app, but I just got it.
Yeah, we switched platforms, and it's kind of a learning curve for everybody.
It's all good. I made it. I did it.
Hell yeah, you did. I mean, shit.
That's all we need.
Mike, I'd like to apologize to you because I should have seen you guys last Wednesday. You were in Kansas City.
KC.
It was that last-minute show thing, so I didn't really have time to coordinate a trip to Kansas City.
That's all good. That ended up being one of the best shows. It's always the ones that you end up, the ones that you don't have the highest hopes for, and then just a crap load of people turned out, and it just sounded great. So it was a good time.
I say from the photos, it looked like there was a huge turnout for you guys, so that was a good thing.
It was good, yeah, definitely.
That's awesome.
So everybody, we're here with Mike Fitz of Bad Marriage. Since we didn't do that, I'm John. I'm in Topeka, Kansas.
I'm Randy. I'm in Oklahoma City.
Awesome.
And I'm Ashton. I'm also in Oklahoma City.
Awesome. I think we just played Oklahoma City or somewhere in somewhere around there.
I might have missed you there too.
All right.
God dang it.
Way to go, Randy.
We're doing such a good job.
How do you say? Is it Wakash? I don't know. I forget the city we played.
Watonga?
No.
No.
Oh, God.
I'd have to look at the flyer, but
there is some crazy ass names in Oklahoma. I'll guarantee it. I'll guarantee
It's so bad.
there's a lot in Massachusetts too that are tough to pronounce.
Well, let's get a quick little. You guys just got off that tour with the Choir Boys and Enough's Enough. How did that tour go for you guys?
It was insane in a great way. It was amazing. We did 22 shows in 30 days.
Wow.
So, like, if you really think about that, that's like
no shit.
I don't even 5-6 a week easily.
Mm-hmm.
It was insane, but we did it, and the Choir Boys from obviously London and Enough's Enough were just super cool camps. Everybody there, their entire camps. It was like one big family. So we that was cool just to be welcomed with open arms, and And the tour day, the the actual shows were great. We made a lot of new fans. We sold some merch, and yeah, it was a success.
Excellent.
Yeah, it was fun.
Tori from Enough's Enough, I've known him since he was in his band, the Black Mollies. Like, way
Okay,
back.
yeah.
So I was super stoked because I was like, oh, I could get over there. But I was like, oh, it's a Wednesday and I don't have enough time to prepare for this.
Yeah,
But,
Tori's a great dude. He's an insane guitar player. And
Absolutely.
we became pretty good buddies over this, month long. When you see each other every day, you either grow to love each other or really dislike each other. But this tour was really great. Everyone got along really good. It was cool.
Very cool.
That's always relieving.
Yeah, oh, totally.
So, how has your band dynamic changed since you added Tommy, like, last month?
Yeah, so so the first show Tommy played was the beginning of this tour. Just a brief history, Bad Marriage has supported Tesla for, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 different tour legs and probably 50 shows. Now, obviously, Tommy wasn't a part of that. He hasn't been in the band since probably 2007 or 8 or something,
Mm-hmm.
So Bad Marriage has had a really cool and close relationship with Tesla. So he was the only guy that we didn't really know. And Bad Marriage was invited to play the Monsters of Rock cruise a few years ago. And his band at the time was also on the cruise. And, I spotted him. I know what he looks like. And I just went up to him and introduced myself. And we kind of hit it off talking about guitars and amps and stuff. And we became buddies and exchanged contact info. And, over a year or so, we stayed in touch. We talk a lot. And then we ended up, I had a song. We have a song coming out hopefully soon, but I was posting a riff of me playing, I was like, I don't know, I posted it on Facebook or something like, hey, here's a new riff of mine, blah, blah, blah. But Tommy really liked it, and he reached out to me and was like, dude, that's badass. So I'm like, you know what? Why don't you play some leads on it? And, the song's pretty much done, but we don't have any, I didn't lay any leads down yet. And
Mm-hmm.
so long story short, that was he sent me the guitar tracks back, and obviously it slayed. It was insane. So that was the start of it. And then we had this tour opportunity come up, and I just asked him, I'm like, hey man, you want to go on the road? And I kind of was assuming that it, 50-50 chance, but he was like, dude, I'm in. His band at the time wasn't touring or playing enough to kind of satisfy him, So when I threw the fact that, hey man, we're going out for a month, it was initially 23 shows. It ended up being 22, but he just dove right in. He was like, dude, I just want to rock, and I said, that's awesome. So so he flew down here to my house where Bad Marriage rehearses in Massachusetts. Actually, we're in Rhode Island now. But yeah, I mean, he killed it. He did his homework. He knew all the songs, and so, to answer your question, I mean, after the tour, now we're a well-oiled machine. I mean, when you do 22 shows in that short a time, you can't help but get tighter and better as a band. So he fits right in. He's like one of the boys.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I'm sure that probably took a ridiculous amount of endurance on everybody having a show either every day or every other day.
Yeah, insane.
Oh my goodness.
We had so many issues like with our AC, and I mean, in July there was like record heat waves and stuff. We were in Texas for 5 shows. I mean, we were some of the shows in Missouri. I mean, there was 105, 108, and then I won't get into it, but we lost both air conditioners in our shuttle bus at one point. It was easily $120 in the cabin. So, I mean, we got them fixed, but there was a couple days where it was brutal. But we did
You
it.
had to suffer a little before you got it.
Yeah, we can laugh about it now, but
Do I really have to put on this leather and fucking vest right now?
I know. Well, we were looking every time we pulled up to the venues. I mean, we would literally jump out of the van and get in there because they're most of them were ice cold inside the venues,
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
But yeah.
So you guys got kicked off 2015. You've got a couple albums now, Bad Marriage 1 and 2, and you
Yep.
just recently dropped an EP as well.
Yeah, the EP is really cool because that was, it's the first. I do recording and mixing and mastering. I like that kind of stuff. And
I saw that.
I did the first Bad Marriage stuff. Bad Marriage, the self-titled, like you said, and Bad Marriage 2. We call it the Tapehead, the Tapehead album because that's the cover. It's got that cassette head guy. So I enjoy doing that. But part of building that relationship with the band Tesla was my relationship with Brian, who's the bass player, and we agreed to have him produce an EP. And so during that COVID lockdown stuff, that's when we took advantage of that. And, we started writing together and so he produced that latest EP. And then he also had Jeff, the singer of Tesla, Jeff Keith, come down and lay some vocals down on 3 of the tunes. So that's why that EP is really special to us is, it's just a different set of, ears, creative minds on it, and then having Jeff on it, it was cool. So it's a little different, but it's still Bad Marriage. It's kind of like an evolution, I guess. But yeah, we're really happy about that one.
Well, I think Randy has Artificial Mind ready to play a short little clip to let everybody hear a little bit of it.
You betcha. Let's hit it up.
Assuming everything works tonight, let's say.
Yeah.
We'll see.
That all go over?
There you are.
Okay.
Yeah, we heard it and we saw it.
Going up and down, but
Yeah, it was fluctuating a little bit, but
Okay, cool.
oh, there's my kid.
I think it'll be better once it plays back, so it'll be fine.
Yeah, it will. It usually does really good after it's not live.
It's all good.
So, if anybody's out there looking for any of your stuff, what's the best place for them to go? One-stop shop for all your merch?
Yeah, I'd say our official website, which is just badmarriagemusic.com. From there it's got everything. It's got our tour dates. It's got our merch page.
That's the most important page.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah,
puts gas in the tank. And
Exactly.
So you can pretty much get everything. We have a really cool Facebook private fan page group that is a really cool community. It's private group because if you want to be a part of it, you want to be there. It's not you're not going to get much spam and stuff like that. But
Cool.
That's called the Bad Marriage Society, and I think there's just under 3,000 people on there, and they're just everyone's really cool. Everyone posts pictures and videos, and we're always on there chiming in. Our band members are always interacting with everybody, and they really like that, and we really like that. So the Bad Marriage Society is on Facebook. It's a private group. That's kind of our fan page where we just hang out.
Very cool.
That's always
Really
good
cool.
to know.
Now that you finished that fast month-long slam tour, do you guys have another tour planned in the works, or
We-
you ready to take some time off?
Well, there's no time off. I mean, as far as we can't. If we're in this thing in the game of rock and roll, you got to just keep going. So I mean, I'm doing this time off would be used to record and write songs, and so I'd always be working since I'm back at the helm with I got my
Ooh,
studio set up is
hell yes,
kind of right
that's,
there.
That's
we got
serious.
Yeah,
serious.
That's Tommy's bed.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Like, stay in the studio. Here's your bed.
Yeah. I gotta pick him up. From the airport tomorrow. We got some. So yeah, we got a bunch of shows. Kind of we call them one-offs. So they're not really tour dates, but they're local shows around here. Like we got one on Friday, but we do our New England ones. And that's where we're from, our home base, and we got a cool one in October in Massachusetts with Dangerous Toys, and they're friends of ours, and we got a bunch of stuff in the works. I just can't really mention it because we got a potential tour in February, but if it doesn't happen, I don't want to look like an idiot. So, but yeah, we got some things in the works, and we got to stay on the road because that's how we kind of build our fan base, build the army up.
Oh, there's another band that has an army too. Kiss, they have an army.
Yeah, well, yeah, and they know what they're doing though with merch and building the army.
John, that one I'm not going to count that one. That was the most forced one that you've ever done.
I bring up Kiss every week somehow, so
no.
I get it. Okay.
You guys don't have any caskets on your merch page, do you?
Nope.
Okay.
I mean, maybe it's time.
Our drummer's a big Kiss fan, though. So
see how that goes. And who are some of your influences as you came up into the ranks of music?
I mean, as a guitar player, when I grew up, I really liked Jimmy Page. I mean, I still do, but he was his work like really spoke to me. The Zeppelin stuff, and and I got a little so all of that like great 60s and 70s stuff was just amazing to me. And then obviously the 80s when all the hair metal bands, and then bands like Guns N' Roses here and Slash, and Warren DeMartini and Rad, all like the killer riffs, George Lynch, and all those just memorable riffs. I wasn't really a big into the leads, like hearing crazy fast solos. I really liked just the signature riffs, and and then you break into the 90s where bands like Soundgarden and Alice in Chains and Rage Against the Machine, all those just killer guitars and heavy guitar stuff. That's just kind of what I lean towards.
So are you listening to anybody that's that right now? Who are you listening to that is current and hitting the stage right now?
What's so funny is I listen to a lot of the bands that like we tour with, because I didn't really know enough other than Fly High Michelle or
exactly.
But now I'm not even kidding, dude. I'm a huge fan because I heard their songs, every night. Same with the Choir Boys. The name, a song or two. They had that hit 7 o'clock, but hearing their other tunes, I'm like, holy shit, these bands are legit.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm a creature of habit in some ways, but I do like new stuff. I'll always be cranking old Bon Scott, AC/DC stuff. I like another band called Airborne from Australia, and we've opened for them before. And I like that just fast, hard, heavy rock. But yeah, I mean, I could go on. There's so many bands that I like and listen to, but it changes a lot. It just depends on what mood I'm in or whatever.
Right on. Now, I did see one little video clip earlier today of Jeff joining you guys on stage with a tambourine. Was that in support of a show that you were playing with them, or did he just happen to be at one of your shows?
Yeah, he used to do that very often, actually. Like I said, we did about 50 shows with them. So once he really, once we became, they kind of took us under their wing, realizing that we were pro, we weren't fucking around, and we could carry ourselves, and Jeff would just jump out, and we would do mostly originals, but we'd always throw in maybe an old Aerosmith cover. So we used to do Toys in the Attic. We used to do Walking the Dog. I forget what we used to do a couple of them, but he would always run out there, and I'd say every other show he would just grace us with his presence, and the crowd would go absolutely nuts. And it really, really helped us, whether he knew it or not. I mean, he was doing it for fun, but when that stuff happens as an onlooker, as a crowd, in the crowd or as a fan, if you're not paying attention to us and you're waiting for Tesla, obviously, and then you see him come out, people started watching us more. Or wow, if Jeff's going out there and doing that with them guys, and maybe I should pay more attention, or I like these guys now too. You know how it is. So it really helped us. It was a blast having him run out there. He's done it a million times. It was fun.
I was pausing because I was trying to let one of you two go, because I feel like I've been rolling through things, and I'm like, I should just stop.
Well, I'm frustrated because I had a question whenever I went up to go help my kid, and then as soon as I sat back down, I was like, oh, and I've been thinking this whole time, like, come back to me. So it was a good one.
You gotta have your pen right beside you.
So how about giving us a something that has happened to you while being on tour that just took you by surprise, or just doesn't happen to anybody else? I mean, a wild fan, anything like that. What kind of crazy stories on the road do you have?
It's a good one. Well, here's one that just happened, which is really hilarious. We were all nervous about the Canadian border, right? We did 3 shows in Canada.
Uh-huh.
And so, there's a couple guys that in the band that like to smoke weed, and it's legal in a lot of states. Here in Massachusetts, it's legal. So, we just told everybody, like, whatever you do before we get to the Canadian border, get rid of your weed. Either smoke it, throw it out. Like Chips Enough was like, he used to say, you should bury it, bro. We can go dig it back up.
We can come back for it.
Yeah. He's like, we bury it. But anyway, we weren't coming back into Canada in the same place, so we couldn't bury anything. But long story short, we're like 3 cars in. There's like 10 behind us. We are at the border. You cannot turn around. You're just in. You can't move.
Yeah.
So I won't mention any names, but as we're like pulling up, someone goes, "Oh my God, look what I have." There were 2 pre-roll, blunt kind of things that fans gave us. And they were sealed. They had like a wax seal on the tube.
Yeah.
So we're like all looking at each other, going, "Oh my God," just fearing the worst. Like, what are we doing? We're taking drugs over the border, And so I'm like, we have to tell them, because we have this big shuttle bus full of gear. We don't know if they're going to rip all the gear out of there, put dogs in there. We just don't know. So we didn't want to try and like get away with it or hide it or anything. We have to tell them. So the guy's asking us, "Do you have any exotic animals with you?" We're like laughing, "No." "Do you have any alcohol?" "No." "Do you have any cigarettes?" "Yeah, we have a few packs." "Do you have any drugs?" And we're like, "Well," and the guy starts like, really grilling us. And we're like, "Well, look, we have these 2 things. We held them up. They're in black tubes. They're sealed. We're pretty sure there's cannabis in it." So he's like, all right. So is there any more? We're like, "No, that's it." So long story short, again, we had to go into this office, and you have to like kind of do your interviews about like if you have any criminal records or anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're assuming while you're in there that they're having their way with the bus, the shuttle
Right.
bus, looking through everything. So about 2 hours in there, they finally let us go, and they gave us a piece of paper that's like they said, "Here's the code to get through the gate." So we said, okay. So we're walking out going, I don't know, like, who knows what's going to happen with the van. So we walk back to the bus. There's nobody around, all right? Nobody. So we're like, okay, we'll get in the bus, start it up, and we have the code. We start driving. We approach the gate. And then I look down, and I go, guys, they didn't even take the two
What
pre-rolls.
the shit?
They're still there. I'm like, well, what do we do? And we're like, just fucking go. Because I don't know. There was nobody around. So we just went. I don't know if they left them on purpose, because I did look up, and it's totally fine. Like if you declare it at the border, they can just confiscate it, but you don't get in trouble. But you have to declare it because it's legal in Canada. What would have been the problem is if we said we didn't have anything, and they found it. So I don't know if they're like, whatever, just leave those things, or they just literally forgot. You know, a couple of us thought that they just opened the shuttle bus, like, and saw so we provided the back line for Enough's Enough and the Choir Boys and Bad Marriage. So the gear we had in that thing, like, was top to bottom. So I guarantee they looked at that and looked at each other and go, we're not searching. Like, this will take 3 hours. You know? So I just think they let us go for whatever reason. It was pretty funny. So that's off the top of my head. That was the craziest story.
That's a pretty good story.
Rule of thumb, always declare what you've got.
Or don't, no, because if you declare it, they're probably just going to take it. But the rule of thumb is don't bring anything over the border.
Right. Let's just start there.
But people do give us a lot of stuff, and it's like we've got gifted, bottles of moonshine, and this, not on this tour, but like, a couple of the Tesla tours, and people just bring you stuff, and it's not always that kind of stuff. It's pizza. We get loaves of bread with peanut butter. I mean, who knows? But, so when people give you stuff and then you forget about it, you put it in your backpack or whatever. And so, yeah, we couldn't believe it. We're like, oh, no, but thankfully everything worked out.
Truthfully, it's probably like how it is up here in America or over here in the U.S. But they're just kind of like, it's freaking legal almost everywhere. Do we really give a shit?
Yeah. When we were nervous too, because we played this place in Texas called Eagle Pass, and it's literally right on the Mexican border. And the place we were playing is like 3 blocks from, where everything goes down, where they're crossing rivers, and it's just it's a hot spot. It's just a lot of activity, and when you leave Eagle Pass, we got in there fine. You have to go through a checkpoint to make sure you're not smuggling anything. And so we were nervous about that too, but it was U.S. Border Patrol, and we're going, this shuttle bus must look so shady pulling up to the Border Patrol. And by the time we opened like the bus doors, the guy's going like this to us. He's
nice.
He's going, can I be in the band, man? And he was so cool. and he goes, guys, you got anything I should know about on this? And we said no. And he goes, all right, well, get going. He didn't look at anything, so he was cool. So what you're saying, most people are really cool if you're cool with them. And,
I feel like I've heard more great stories about like law enforcement with band interactions than not. Because for the most part, they're all like, they look back and they think, man, we don't want to mess with all that.
Yeah.
Just like you were saying. But I had years ago, I had a band that was coming from Tulsa, and they got stopped. And he said, yeah, the cop was like, you guys got anything in here? And they're like, no. And he's like, you guys been drinking? They're like, no. He's like, you guys are the worst rock band ever. You don't have anything on you. You're sober. He's like, you guys need to get out of this neighborhood, like right now, like seriously. Right. So he was more concerned that they were in a neighborhood they should be out of at that point.
Right. we just stayed at that Hard Rock in Tulsa. It was a casino, and we had a blast.
Yep.
All the band. We had a show get canceled, but then we added another one, so we ended up having 2 days off, and I think one of the days we stayed at that, and we had a blast. But
yeah. Really nice place.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah. I think I saw some of the photos, probably from Tori's page, because I love watching Tori's travel photos whenever he's out, because he has so much great photography that he does, just random stuff, and I think I caught some pictures from there as well.
Yeah. No, he loves to get out and actually see stuff, and I should probably do that more, but he gets up too early for me.
Yeah, I hate
So do
mornings.
you like ride on the road, or do you struggle riding on the road, or do you have to be at home? And
Yeah,
do you feel like what's the best way that you go about riding?
it's mostly at home. On the
Okay.
road, there's not a lot of downtime, especially with tours. You would think there would be. When we toured with Tesla, there was more because they're an older band, so they take more. When they book their tours, they have more strategic days off where they can rest or travel. We don't have to rush around. But
Right.
this tour we were just hammering away on the road trying to get the miles down. But most of it's home. I mean, if something comes to my head, whether it's a vocal melody, a lyric, or a guitar line, I just shout it into my phone or type it out. And I always think of like cool catchphrases that I think could be choruses of songs.
Right.
If I hear something cool, I'm like, oh, that could be a cool line in a song. I jot that stuff down a lot. But yeah, I mean, mostly the writing is here when I have time to actually like fire up the studio. And I start the songs myself. I usually play some sort of drum loop or something, and I just start jamming and see what comes up from there. I usually come up with something, and just that's how it usually starts.
Really cool. I'm sure I'd be the same way. It's just so much easier. Your mind is freer if you're in a familiar place and you're at home, and it's just kind of loose,
Yeah.
But being out on the road, feeling like, oh, I got to come up with something, or whatever, it would just be forced. And I like how you do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it's different for everyone though, but a lot of people, a lot of people, think that you have all this time and you can break out the acoustic guitars and start writing, and it's just like you can't even move in the bus. I never mind pull out an acoustic guitar. So, but
absolutely. Well, do you guys have anything else?
I checked off all of my notes as I went through to make sure I crossed everything off the list tonight.
John,
I'm going to
really
remember
excited.
my question later.
Oh, yeah. I'm really excited because he did do we have something in the works, but we can't talk about it yet.
Every show.
Love it.
yeah, we have a few things. I wish I could say them because I'm excited about them too. I just hope they happen. I've just, growing up being in bands, you kind of learn. You hope to learn what to do, what not to do, and I've yapped before, and it hasn't come true, and I just look like an idiot. So I'm trying not to do that shit anymore.
No, we absolutely love it. It means that there's definitely a very good chance that something's coming down the road, and something's about to happen.
Right.
So that's awesome.
Sweet.
Go ahead, Randy. I know you're going to say it.
No.
I saw your mouth kind of shuddering.
Thank you for your time this evening with us. It's been enlightening. Great stories. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
I started following your actual page today.
Awesome.
Along with the bands that I've been with for a while now. But I found yours today, and I was like, oh, I'm going to get more info this way.
Yeah.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Yeah, it was fun being on. I mean, I like doing this stuff. I don't mind at all.
We're always here for you, and I hope that next time you guys roll through remotely close, I get more than a 48-hour. I'll be there.
That was a whirlwind. We drove through a tornado too at one point. I mean, this tour was great. Like legit drove through one. Yeah. It was crazy. So it was a lot of stories from this road, but from this tour. But I think the border Canada one,
that was great.
That one's insane.
Us surrendering and declaring the goods, and then them leaving it. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe
we didn't really care.
Maybe that's protocol. I don't know. I don't know what everything has changed.
Maybe they're like, we got better stuff up here. Just leave it.
Yeah.
They probably opened it, smelled it, just.
Yeah, they weren't even open. That's why.
Wow.
Yeah, weird.
What the hell?
They probably like, let these cats have their fun.
Right.
Who knows?
That's hilarious, though. I love that.
Yeah, I just think they took a look inside the bus, and looked around and they're like, nope.
Yeah, nope. We ain't got time for this.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Mike. I appreciate it. Thank you for joining us, and thanks for downloading the app. I apologize for that,
Right.
by the way.
Oh, it's all good. Yep. You all right, guys? Well, thanks for having me on.
For sure,
Have
man.
a good one.
All right, see ya.
Later.
man.
All right,
That
everybody.
was really cool.
Mike
That was.
Fitz's Bad Marriage. And also, don't forget, if you want to go like join their little world, Bad Marriage Society on Facebook. It is a private, closed group, so I'm sure you'll have to request permission.
And buy the merch. Buy the merch. Give them some
for
gas
sure.
money.
They had some really cool merch, actually.
They really do. And
Like, insanely freaking cool merch.
my biggest concern would have been like when I was doing all my searching for this. Then my wife comes home. She's looking at my search stuff. She's like, "What are you searching Bad Marriage for?"
Bad marriage.
I need to clear my search history now.
Oh, shit, I never even thought of that.
Oh, good lord.
That is
Wife's
funny.
gonna come home and get on here to do something, and she's like, "Why are your last 10 searches bad marriage, bad marriage, bad marriage?"
No, the band.
You gotta follow it up with band. Bad
Right.
marriage band.
I think
Right.
I think I actually did that to one of my search stuff, the second one or something, because I was like, you know what? I wonder if this comes up easier. But I think it came up under Bad Marriage Music. Is what I
Okay.
think it came up under.
So one thing I do want to show very specifically, they have 3 vinyls.
Oh
A
wow.
gold, a stone-washed denim, and
Bro,
a
you
sterling
need that one.
silver. Like,
Really
That's about
cool.
as-
Yeah, that's
Oh,
nice.
God. that is
Wow, that's
so
cool.
sick.
There's Tapehead.
Yep.
Right, exactly. That is like stone-washed denim. Come on now. That is so sick. I just wanted to point that out. I'm sitting here looking through all their stuff that I saw those 3.
Are those little pins there? Go back up.
This?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep,
cool.
little enamel
Yeah.
pins.
Yeah.
See what I mean? They're
Yeah,
sick.
That's really
awesome.
cool.
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to get one of those. Thank you for that. And this is probably a
masks.
really good way for us to help them anyway when
Black and red
when we're in
masks.
between guests or whatever happens. We can go through and show their merch after we chat with them.
I just like the stonewashed denim one.
I do too.
That one, I've never seen that before. Rolling with the punches.
I am in trouble
You're always in trouble.
right now, I guess. All right. Thank you, Kaylee. All right. Bye-bye.
Hi, Anthony.
Welcome to the party.
You know what? Sorry about that. I was sitting there on Zoom since 7 o'clock.
Oh
and
no.
I'm like, man, what is going on? I'm thinking, man, something must be wrong. So I called the girl that actually does a lot of my promoting. She's like my assistant. And she's like, I don't know, but let me just look back through the emails. And then all of a sudden she's like, oh, it says that it switched to off of Zoom to this tree thing or whatever. And I'm like,
Yeah.
can you send me the email? And I'm like, yeah, I'll send it to you. She goes, I'll forward it to you right now. Because I had to forward it from my work email to my laptop, my work email. So now I'm in.
No,
All right. Well, better late than
I'm
never.
glad you made it.
Yeah, well, I've been sitting here, man. I'm like, I kept texting her. I'm like, listen, I'm going to give this thing till 8:05, and if not, I'm out. You know what I mean? Like, I'm done. I mean, so.
Right.
But it's all good.
Oh, it's good to see you. It's good to see you. We'll do a little bit of an introduction. My name is Randy, and I'm in Oklahoma City.
Okay.
I'm Ashton. I'm also in Oklahoma City.
And I'm John. I'm in Topeka, Kansas.
And I'm Anthony Sobak. I go by Tony, but officially Anthony is my official name. But I go by Tony. Actually, my band is just my last name, Sobak. So I just go by Sobak as far as music. And I'm actually in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, which is just a little bit south of Nashville.
Awesome.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nashville's a good place to be.
Yeah, it's
Oh, my
pretty
God,
cool.
yes.
Very cool. Yep.
So tell us what you've got going on. You've got a new video out.
Yeah, got a new video out, like Heaven's Wings. It was inspired by my fiance, and been working with Michael Stover and the MTS Records, and it's been going well. We've been, really promoting it a lot. We're getting a lot of views on a lot of different channels, so it's been going extremely well. I've got quite a bit of original music that's I'm pushing to get out there and to try to really, build that base.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I saw that you actually, your first song that you made was when you were 17, and that released nationwide. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was actually in years ago, I was in a band that it was sort of like an anti-drug rock band, because we were like really against drugs, and it was pretty cool. So we did a song basically submitted it for this contest. It was a compilation album, and so what we did is we went ahead and put together the music. Actually, my mother wrote the lyrics, and then me and another gentleman put together the music, and we submitted it. And they were doing like a compilation album, so they had so many different kind of artists. They had like country artists, rap artists, like all these different genres of music. And so we actually got picked up for the rock category as to be the rock song. It was called, it was on an album called Just Say No. And it was actually, the name of the song was called Drugs Don't Do It. And so it was pretty cool. And we were on there with a lot of famous people. I mean, I think Carl Perkins was the person that was chose for country. And there were a couple other famous people, but I can't remember. It's been quite a while. Yeah. So, but it was cool. It was a really good experience, and got to be on a CD that was released, nationwide with a bunch of famous people. So it was pretty
Absolutely.
Cool.
At such a young age, even. That's
yeah,
awesome.
It was good.
How did that feel, realizing that you just got picked for something that pretty major?
It was pretty cool. I mean, it was really cool. It was, I was always able to write really good hooky rock songs or whatever. So I always felt like, if the right person heard this stuff, it would get picked up, or something would happen with it somehow. And it was back when, like, I don't know, like, when Pepsi would do videos and stuff like that, they actually, when we did that song, Pepsi actually sent a bunch of bigwigs out, and they filmed that song for a Pepsi video.
Oh, sweet.
That song was filmed for a Pepsi video, but I didn't have the name of Michael Jackson.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't have that name or whatever, so it just never got pushed, But it was pretty cool. It was a big event. I grew up in a small town in Indiana, just south of like Gary. So if you know where Chicago is, you just go Chicago, just keep going south. You'll hit Maryville or Gary, Maryville, Crown Point, and Lowell. So when I was there was about 4,500 people, and this was like a huge deal to have this happen at such a young age. And we had a venue there, and it was completely sold out. You couldn't even get in there because there was so many people. So yeah, it was pretty cool. It was a really cool thing to do at such a young age. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, oh yeah, that, especially like I said, 17, like that is impressive. More than anything, that is outright impressive.
Yeah, my mom had a lot to do with that too, because she was sort of my backbone of my music, and my whole family. But definitely, my mom was a big part of that, which was really cool. But over the years, a lot of things have evolved for me, and a lot of good things have happened. I got to open up for John Waite. Of the Babies, John Waite, however you want to call it, the Babies or John Waite, but he's just right. John Waite now. So opened up for him, and it was actually in San Juan Capistrano in California, a place called the Coach House. and that place was like sold out. I mean, it was like standing room only. It was really cool. And then when somebody saw me perform there, because we were the band that played right before John Waite went on the stage. And by the way, he's still phenomenal. So we played right before him, and then right after that, I mean, a lady approached me and she's like, "Hey, do you guys want to open up for Autograph?" And like all these things started happening. We didn't do that gig, but we did open up for Crocus at the Whiskey. And it was an amazing show, and then we got approached to open up for Leif Garrett. We didn't do that one. We passed on that one, but yeah, I've done a lot of really cool things over the years. I've been like sort of like on the outside of that bubble, close in scratching, but I've never been able to actually put it all together, put all the pieces together, and make it actually, I think it's jogged a few times. I may have ran once or twice, but it's never sprinted yet. If you want to put that into jogging words or running words,
Not a bad way to put it, though.
Yeah, so it's jogged, it's sprinted a couple times, but but it's it hasn't been a full on, time to where I could actually just do music full time and tour and do all that stuff. So
right.
But it's but yeah, a lot of good things have happened over the years. I've got over 50 original songs, and that's inspired by a lot of things, because I had been writing music ever since I was pretty young. But over the years, I have a fiance, her name's Donna, and she was actually the one that I wrote Like Heaven's Wings about. She was actually one of the biggest influences in my life as far as writing music. I had a decent amount of catalog, but once I had met her, the catalog really just exploded because she just inspired me like crazy. So it's like, there was a time for like 2 or 3 years straight, all I was doing is going in and recording songs about her.
And you have a Donna song as well.
Yeah, I have a Donna song and a Donna video, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty catchy. It's not "Oh Donna," but it's a different, it's a different kind of Donna song, but very catchy, very cool. People like it. The guys seem to like it at the shows. The girls didn't like it too much because the girls like, "Hey, why are we gonna spell out Donna, when you're spelling out my name," you know what I mean? But the guys, I think the guys resonated with it more than the girls, so there's been a lot of, cool things that have happened. I did a while ago, this is back in Cal, I did a commercial for, I think it was Mossy Nissan, it's just cool. I've done a lot of really cool stuff, and I tried to piece things together here in Nashville as far as musically, like collectively getting guys together to do all that. But this particular city, which I do like it a lot, but it is the rock scene here is a little different than Cal for sure. And, it's really, it's very country based here, which everybody knows, this is the capital of country music and Country Music Hall of Fame, so the industry here is really geared for country music. That's really, really what it is or whatever. So, but my focus right now is really just taking the material that I have. The latest CD that I did was A Little More Time, and to be pushing that CD and trying to, build a base with that, and then start probably re-releasing. I had a really cool CD I put out a few years ago called Gallery of Grief, and it's, inspired. It's weird because it's like A Little More Time has a lot of positive songs on it, but Gallery of Grief has a lot of negative songs on it. So it's like you get like two completely polar opposite CDs, like all this negativity, and then I wouldn't say all of A Little More Time is all positive, but I would say 90% of it is a positive CD, so So it's pretty weird how you get like just what you're going through really can, spew out what is happening in your life, So it's pretty cool.
I think Randy's going to play a short little bit of Like Heaven's Wings.
Okay, cool.
Let
Right on.
everybody get a little taste of the sound as well.
Right on.
No pressure or anything.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got it.
He's good.
What you feeling? You know I feel it too. Hard to believe again. Hope you'll never say goodbye. It's your season. May all your flowers bloom to love again. In hopes your heart never cries. You know I've tried to win your heart, my friend. Hold on and know you must trust again. It's only you. This love's for two.
Right on.
I love that. That's just something that I'm just relaxing and I just want to feel good. I just pop my headphones in and just, I love that. There's not much of that music today. Everything is more upbeat and just insane. And that one was amazing.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah,
I really,
sure. I truly like to write from the heart. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like all these songs. I try to classify my music as, I don't want to really sound like the 70s or anything like that because it's not the 70s, my music, but it's very heartfelt. So I classify it. If people ask me, hey, what is your music like? I call it spirit rock. I mean, all this stuff is written from my soul, from the depths of my soul, from my heart. So the thing about it is, that's the only way that I can classify it. It's like, and so if people ask me, well, what kind of artist are you? They're like, I tell them I'm a spirit rock artist. And they're like, okay, well, what does that mean? Okay. So does that mean you're a Christian artist? I said, and I tell them, I said, well, some of my songs have Christian overtones to them. And some of the lyrics or whatever, but I wouldn't say that I would classify it as that. It's more heartfelt and just written from the soul, and so it's, and that's pretty much how I write all my stuff, even if it's a heartbreak or it's a negative experience. So it's that's where I came up with the name Gallery of Grief for that CD. Is I think that was the name of that was the name of the gallery that I think convicted Jeffrey Dahmer or something like that, and so it's like these, so it's, these negative experiences. So that's how I came up with that whole album and that song, that Gallery of Grief sort of just stuck with me. And I was going through a divorce at that time and it was really a negative experience. And so that's where that line came from, was from that particular gallery, or that that actually convicted him.
Wow,
crazy!
Yeah, that's insane.
So I want to dive into a little bit of your background too, as well. Now, if I read your bio correctly that I saw, you have 2 degrees.
Yeah. So I do have a. I always did a lot of music stuff, but I never actually majored in music. So. I did.
Where my was going.
I did take a lot of music classes, but I did major in business, and that was what I did get my degree in. I got an associate's degree, of course, and then I ended up getting a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration. And so, so I do have 2 degrees, but I did, as I was going to college, I did take a lot of music classes, a lot of music theory classes, and then And I did, for quite a while, I did play stand-up bass, too.
Oh, wow.
Because I initially started off as a bass player when I was very young. And then I evolved into being a singer and playing the 12 string and doing all that other stuff. But I initially started out playing the bass. Yep.
Going from 4 strings to 12 strings. That's a jump.
Yeah, and I really like, I have a Charvel 12 string. It's black. And I really, I do like playing 12 string. And on a little more time, it really calls for that for the 12 string. We don't even attempt to play it with the 6 string because it just doesn't.
12 strings are so beautiful.
They have a completely different sound that you can't replicate with anything. They're just so smooth, so beautiful.
Sure.
You can get me talking about guitars for days.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get a lot of, I got Jacksons, so I'm, I like the 80s, and so, I got a lot of Jacksons with the backward necks and all that good stuff, and I'm all about that kind of stuff. So, yes, it's, guitars are very cool, very cool. Yeah, but for me, it's all about a message, you know what I mean? Like, bringing a message and bringing a story, and like I said, if that message can touch other people's souls. I get inspired a lot by death. I have a song on Gallery of Grief, another negative, off the Negative album. There's a song on there called Hear You Cry, and so it's about the death of John Benet Ramsey.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. And so I get inspired a lot by that. It has the short length version of the song on there, but one of these days, I would like to record the full length version because there's actually like a third verse that goes along to it. But I was trying to keep it more, not this long November rain kind of thing.
Digestible.
That goes on for, 18 minutes, So I was like, okay, let's do the first and second verses and then, get through it or whatever. But I do have a third verse for that song as well. Yeah.
Wow. So I've kind of picking up a vibe that a lot of your stuff is very intellectual, and like a lot of your songs are deeper based, meaning wise. Like, is a lot of your inspiration just from personal experience, or is it also like you're taking stories out of the news, like you said, like John Benet?
Yeah, I would say probably most of my music is most of it is really from my personal experience, like. Either like going through a divorce or, personal heartache or, very, very personal stuff that's happened. But a few of my songs have come from sitting back and hearing the news, and I just get inspired and I'm like, man, I've got to write about this. So I've had probably a handful of songs like that I've watched TV and I've picked up stuff and I would be like, you know what, this would make a good story or make a good song. And I've been able to do that. But I would say that probably 90% of it is literally from the experiences that I've had, but not all of it, you know what I mean? Like I have a really cool song called A Soldier's Life. And it's not directly about something that's on the news, but you hear about war all the time and the stuff that's going on out there. It's just it's a great song. It's about sending your son off to war and never knowing if you're going to see him again. It could be the last, day you ever saw him when he leaves, so sometimes it's not a specific thing that happens. But sometimes it's just a general like news thing that would, be on as well.
If somebody's looking for all of your songs to include A Soldier's Life and like Heaven's Wings, like all the different CDs or whatever you've put out, where's the place for somebody to go find all that?
So they should be able to get most of it. I don't believe all of that's available. Like A Soldier's Life, I don't believe that's up for. So what I've done with a couple with that is basically people that are like, hey, I want to buy a shirt, I want to buy you know, I want to get a mug from you or an off your, so I tell them, hey, you order a few things off my website and I'll go ahead and get you some material that you've never heard from me. So
Really cool.
it's worked out pretty cool. I've been selling a lot of stuff online. But you could go to www.anthonysobakmusic.com. So it's Anthony spelled normal, Anthony. A lot of people mess my last name up, so that they want to put a C in there. So it's S-O, B as in boy, A as in apple, K as in kite. And we better be able to spell music, right? Music.com. So AnthonySobakMusic.com. So that's where people can get, you know, a majority of the material, but that's what I've been doing with a lot of the stuff that I haven't released or people haven't heard, you know, and people will like it a lot. They'll be like, yeah, there you go. People will really, really like that a lot. They're like, hey, wow, you know, this is stuff I haven't ever heard. And so it's been pretty cool. And there's that video right there that you're right at the bottom there. That's actually a live version at the Coach House opening for John Waite, playing a little more time. And I like it a lot because you can really hear my voice a lot in that particular performance because the band's at a lower level and, you know, it's more of an acoustic song. So it went over extremely well. And you can see how packed that place is. It was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. That's insane.
Yeah. Good,
right,
really
let's see
cool.
what you got for sale. What you selling us?
Oh yeah, well there's a lot of merch on there. Yeah, there's a lot of merch on there. So if you want to
headbands, yeah,
you got headbands, you got T-shirts, you got mugs. You know, I just had a girl buy a drinking mug off there or whatever. So pretty cool. Yeah, we got a pretty cool site and then like I said, I think. Is any of the Gallery of Grief stuff on there? I know that you can probably find that on the internet, the Gallery of Grief stuff, but I know it should be available out there for download as well. But I don't
maybe
know.
Nothing on the website yet.
Yeah, okay.
At least.
So it's gonna be so it's gonna be it'll be on. I think she's just got the most recent stuff right now is what she's got, but. I think it's like on iTunes and stuff like that. I think you can actually get any of that. And there's a lot of cool stuff on there. Yeah. You just do some research.
Right, exactly. And make sure you spell your last name right.
Yeah. Yeah, don't throw a C in there, man.
Don't throw a C in.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah. It's the website's cool. There's a lot of good stuff and a lot of good stuff to order or whatever. But that's what it's been working out pretty well as far as, like I said, just telling people, hey, you know, buy a few things. You know, like I said, we'll send you out. I call it I call it Project 2 and Project 3 because it's sort of weird. I never really had a name for them, so it's just like a bunch of songs that I wrote. So I never really came up with like a name for them. So they were like, to me, they're like a bunch of inspirational extra songs that I wrote. So I just said, here's Project 2, here's Project 3, and it's always been Project 2, Project 3. And but people are liking it.
Hey,
I
it
want to circle back one more time with you, Anthony. You said A Soldier's Life isn't on any of your streaming stuff.
I don't think it is. But I will talk to my assistant and we'll see what we can do about getting some of that streamed. She actually just heard it for the first time last weekend. So
I would love to hear that song personally.
What's that?
I personally would love to hear that song.
Sure. Absolutely.
I spent my life that way for a while, so
okay.
I'd love to hear that song from you.
Yeah, it's a really cool song. It's got keyboards in it and stuff. It's really like got that like vibey, cool mood, and like, you know, I always pictured that song being in the background of like a war movie. You know what I mean? It's got that vibe to it and stuff. So I've always pictured that, and who knows, maybe one day it will be.
Really cool.
Very cool.
Yep, good stuff.
Well, thank you, Tony. Thanks for not giving up on us.
You know what? I appreciate it. You know what? I'm glad we were able to see the email and know that you were on another with another link to get this thing going.
Right.
But yeah, if you want to shoot me an email, you could shoot me an email to anthonysobakmusic@gmail.com. And if you do that, let me see right here. If you shoot me an email there, anthonysobakmusic@gmail.com, just shoot me your information and I'll see what I can do about getting some extra music out for you guys.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
that way you can take
That'd
a
be
listen to it.
awesome.
Yeah.
Really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's all good. Well, thank you for having me, and thank you. And I'm glad. I'm sorry I was late in the game, but you know what?
Oh, it's all good.
Hey, it's
You're here, man.
Bottom of the ninth, bottom of the ninth, 3 balls, 2 strikes. But hey, Casey hits it out, right?
That's right. That's right.
That's awesome.
We're in a transition period. We were doing Zoom, and then right in the middle, we just kind of switched. But thanks for not giving up.
No worries. Thank you guys, and thanks for having me. And send me that email, and I'll go ahead and get you some stuff out.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
Hey, man, you too.
Bye.
Oh yeah.
All right, guys. We started off with a little Bad Marriage, and we finished with some Anthony Sobak. I know there was some time in between that we were playing around on the website and randomly throwing out ideas of stuff. So if you're still with us, thanks for staying with us. Anthony, thanks for sticking around and making it in. Randy, we need to make sure we email that guy because I want to hear that song.
Right on. Okay.
Like, as soon as he was talking about it, I was like, I want to hear this song. And then he said it's not out there. And I'm like,
Oh.
Like, of course.
Good stuff.
I was like, man, come on. So, are we going to try to play outro music tonight?
No. I think I'll just add it at the end.
Okay. That sounds good.
I think all we just need to do is say goodbye, man.
All right, guys. Not next week.
Not next week.
Not next week.
But we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Later.
Later.
We bang your ugly friends too.